morning and welcome back to the morning commute. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm glad you guys are tuning in because this is a unique morning for us, Arizona or Phoenix summer. It's really nice when we get some rain, so it's beautiful. I think it rained almost at least half of the night in our area. You know, around like 11 it was raining pretty good, and then this morning around like 2 or 3 it's still raining, and so it looks nice. Clouds are nice looking, the air is cleaner, and I need to get over that way so I can turn off. Yeah, this is cool. Sonora bound cargo. Had me a cup of coffee this morning. I was up around like maybe 3:30ish or something. I didn't make any breakfast. Just had some coffee. Kind of hesitant to get behind these rock hollers, but I may not have a choice. We'll see which way this tanker's going. Seems like it's got a pretty steady pace, and I might be able to squeeze in with plenty of notice. There you go. You hope. There's some pilot truck on there. Let's see, where's pilots on the east side? Might be maybe Gold Canyon or something. This truck better move over quickly because he's gonna have to get on the other lane. Looks like a homemade trailer, huh? Got nice lights. Got a wide axle. I like how they're all covered up. That way they're protected from the elements. That's a 2500 Ram too. It looks kind of small. Check out the beautiful clouds. Still got the shuttering on the transmission. It's every so often. I was supposed to take it to Danny's transmission shop yesterday and drop it off overnight, and they would do an evaluation today, but I gotta get to work. So I checked the fluids are good. They're not like all dark. It's full. It's not overfilled. And I think I might try to drop the pan this weekend, depending colleagues told me that there's a shop on the east side. There's also Danny's Transmission, and then kind of thinking about one of the shops in Southwest Phoenix, the ones that worked on the D21, but I don't know, because a lot of times, like say if you get a 2-year warranty, 24,000 miles, but you don't really drive it that much, and then something happens like in the 23rd month, and the company's nowhere to be found, that would be rough. So, we'll see. Father's Day's coming up, folks. I don't know what you got planned or what you got on your wish list. Put it in the comments if you have any ideas for gifts, or if there's something that you as a father or father figure would appreciate as a gift. Give us some ideas. Give our viewers some ideas as well, because sometimes it's hard to pick something, you know. But I was looking at my seat covers up here in the front, and the driver's side's pretty worn on like the back, almost backrest. It's when I get in and out of the vehicle that it touches. And so I'm thinking maybe I might order one, but I'll see. And then there was something else I was thinking about, but I could not remember. But I think probably like the best overall gift is just getting to spend time with your pops and your kids, because man, those memories are priceless. So I think my pops is going to be in town, so maybe we can cook out or go to lunch or something, dinner. And I still didn't really get a major gift or anything for my mom for Mother's Day, so I'm still kind of thinking about that. I did get her a plant. This guy is trying hard, man. Let's let him go. Go ahead. There's no winning, I guess. Oh boy, here we go. If they didn't see a cop. But yeah, I think also like I was saying, put in some ideas in the comments. Oh, there's it's like is that a DPS up there? And I think some cool gifts would be like a coffee cup, a shirt, maybe a cap or a hat, maybe a hat. A homemade card, even maybe a small or any size of photo album would be awesome, because they see that all the time. Even like a picture and a picture frame that they can put in their living room or home. But I saw some really cool ceramic printed plates on the Buy Hopi, on one of the Buy Hopi members' sites, and so those would be really cool go see what's going on in the news. Sorry about that. I'm just rambling.
Might show up. They'll keep the party going until you take action. Call 602 Blue Sky today.
Netanyahu, if you'll forgive me, I want to ask about something else that Prime Minister Netanyahu had to say. Last month at a press conference, he said he would like to end the war, but under clear conditions. Some of them are familiar to us. All the hostages come home. Hamas lays down its arms. Gaza is disarmed. But he added one more thing that you have also affirmed in a speech that I saw recently, very interesting speech. He said, we will carry out the Trump plan. President Trump's idea was to remove all 2 million people and replace them with some kind of resort like the Riviera, he said. In about a minute that we have, what specifically is Israel's plan then? Who will be living there and when?
I mean, the Trump plan is very simple. It says every war zone has people who live in it, and they're allowed to leave. The only place on earth where people haven't been allowed to leave a war zone is Gaza, because Egypt closed the door and wouldn't let them out. And what President Trump's vision is let these people make a choice. If they want to stay, they can stay. If they want to go, then allow them to leave. And that is what Israel says. And we know the Gallup polls, the Palestinian polls, all show that over 1 million Gazans want to leave Gaza, and nobody's letting them. So I think that Israel's desire to implement the Trump plan is just a desire to allow the people of Gaza what everybody on earth should have, which is the freedom to choose where they want to live.
And when you said, in a couple of seconds, when you said in that speech, this very interesting speech, this is our land legally, historically, ours, all of it, did you include Gaza when you said all of it?
Well, you can take it for what you want, but I think President Trump's idea of Gaza is the one that the government of Israel is adopting, that we believe that Gaza has to be rebuilt, that right now it's one great big minefield because Hamas will be trapped every single structure in Gaza, and it's going to take years to clean that up and clear it out to make it fit for human habitation. And in the meantime, the people of Gaza shouldn't have to live in a minefield.
Caroline Glick is an international affairs advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu. Thanks so much for your time today. Hope we talk again.
Thank you very much.
This is NPR News.
And this is Morning Edition here on KJZZ. We'll have the Marketplace Morning Report for you in about 10 minutes. And looking at the Trump administration's decision to double steel and aluminum tariffs to 50% could affect manufacturers that rely on metals. And we'll set the stage for Wall Street and the opening there coming up at 5:52 here on 91.5.
KJZZ is supported by Honoring America's Veterans, recipient of the 2025 Copper Eagle Award for Service to Veterans. More info at honoringamericasveterans.org.
A check of KJZZ News at 5:43. A federal judge isn't reversing her ruling that voided provisions of a 2022 Arizona law designed to require proof of citizenship to vote in federal races, even though the Trump administration wants to drop the lawsuit. From KJZZ's Politics Desk, Wayne Shutsky reports.
U.S. District Court Judge Susan Bolton already ruled parts of the 2022 law illegal, though there are still some legal issues to resolve. In a new order, Bolton acknowledged the federal government no longer wants any part of the lawsuit it filed against the state when Joe Biden was president, but she rejected a bid by attorneys for President Trump's Department of Justice asking her to vacate her previous judgment, at least as far as the federal government is concerned. Bolton said the feds were just one of 7 plaintiffs challenging the laws, and her ruling finding sections of the 2022 law illegal applied to that entire case. Bolton found that removing one of those plaintiffs would not vacate the
Roller in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Right, thank you, Jim. Full closure this morning. This is south of the Stack, right where the 17 and the 10 meet, just north of downtown there. This is a full closure, southbound I-17, right in the Durango curve, right near 7th Avenue. If you are stuck in this, you're being taken off at Durango. Consider alternates. Stay eastbound on the I-10 into downtown if you need to catch up to the inner loop eastbound I-10 to get over to the west side of Sky Harbor this morning. If you're north of the Stack, Thomas, McDowell, Indian School Road, those are ways to get around this crash. Nevertheless, extra minutes, get a move on. This is going to affect traffic throughout the morning. Traffic is brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Join Bruce St. James at Mesa AMC Theater June 14th, 5 p.m. for a showing of Retirement on the Brink. Sign up at retirementonthebrink.com. Show your VIP badge for complimentary popcorn and a drink. John Rover, KTAR News.
Mostly sunny with still a 20% chance of rain today and a high of 98. Weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Weather replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing.
KTAR News.
newsmaker.
Joining us this morning from Washington is Arizona senior U.S. Senator Mark Kelly. Good morning, Senator. Thanks for being with us. We thought we'd start with legislation that's pending in your chamber, the Senate.
Senator Elon Musk describes the big, beautiful bill as a disgusting abomination and told House members who passed it, "You know you did wrong." You're not the biggest Musk fan, and it's probably not for the same reasons, but do you agree with him that this bill is an abomination?
Well, I think a blind squirrel can find a nut every so often, and I think that's the case here. But with Elon, so we do agree. I mean, abomination. It's bad policy. It cuts an enormous amount of money out of Medicaid, so people will lose their health care. Kids, seniors, even pregnant moms, and the thing is, it's all so we can continue to give a big tax cut to the wealthiest Americans, to billionaires. So this is just bad policy. It also takes $30 billion a year out of food assistance, that a lot of that food assistance goes to kids. So kids are going to be hungry if this legislation passes in its current form.
If there weren't the tax cuts, a continuation of some of the tax cuts, and maybe even some new tax cuts in there, would you be a little more in favor of this bill? Because something has to be cut at some point, right? We're facing a giant national debt, and this, of course, also creates deficits.
Yeah, I mean, the debt is a big concern of mine, and this adds $3 trillion to the debt over 10 years. So there are cuts to Medicaid. And the reason they're cutting Medicaid is so it doesn't even add more money to the debt. And it's all in the justification to continue to provide a tax cut to the wealthiest Americans. You know, I think it's something like 65% of the cuts goes to the top 10%. Now, I am all for cutting taxes for working class and middle class people. We should not be raising their taxes. But billionaires can pay some more and still be billionaires. The math on this is not hard. So I think this is bad policy. I think it's going to backfire on these people. But the worst part about it is the people that I have met across the state who, just have such compelling stories about how they rely on Medicaid and they rely on SNAP to feed their kids. And if these programs go away, it's going to hurt a lot of Arizonans.
Arizona's senior U.S. Senator Mark Kelly is with us here, and I wanted to jump to tariffs because that's obviously a topic we're talking about today. You've said before that tariffs should be used to fight unfair trade practices, but judiciously, something we'd imagine you don't feel President Trump has done. So if he gets some great trade deals done, will you think that they're worth it?
Well, it depends on what the deal is, right? I mean, we've got tariffs being put on, taken off, raised, lowered, aluminum and steel now another 50%. Hey, I'm going to a meeting right now with some Ukrainian government leadership, Yermak, who is the head of the president's office, and others. And one of the discussions that we will have internally after this meeting is legislation to put more tariffs on the Russians, to compel them to end this conflict, this illegal invasion. So tariffs can be rather targeted and for specific purposes, but what the president has done here is quite erratic, and ultimately, this is going to cost, taxpayers, cost families more money for the things that they rely on.
And by the way, do you feel like maybe Chinese tariffs should be the exception? I mean, they are definitely not our ally. They have done a lot of underhanded things to us, including trade practices. Would you be okay with seeing Chinese tariffs staying in place, Senator?
Yeah, it depends on what it is. The blanket tariffs usually don't help us. Yeah, sure, maybe over a long period of time we'd be able to bring some specific, some sort of manufacturing back, but we benefit from buying cheap goods in other countries, China included. They buy jet engines from us, we buy T-shirts from Vietnam.
Good morning. Could I have a 1D?
I'm sorry?
breakfast sandwich number 1D as in dinosaur.
Can you tell me which sandwich is that one, please? I don't have
It's
the answer.
okay. It's the bacon and sausage with egg and cheese. I think it's on a croissant,
Okay.
and that'll be it.
Okay, I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, that was the hardest thing, is not to order a donut or some coffee, because I already have coffee.
That attacker in Boulder, so hold on just a moment.
KTAR traffic alert.
Yeah, and here's a quick update from John Roller. 17 closed this morning. Yeah, south of the stack, southbound I-17, right in the Durango curve, just south of the downtown area. All lanes are closed right at 7th Avenue. If you're in this, you're being taken off at Durango. If you're north of the stack, Thomas, McDowell, Indian School Way, ways to get around this crash into downtown. No estimated time of reopening. John Roller, KTAR News.
Sunny skies today with a high of 98. Your weather brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing.
All right, our conversation with Senator Mark Kelly continues. Wanted to ask you about this, Senator. The State Department has revoked the visas of the family of Mohammed Sullivan, who is the alleged attacker in Boulder. And Homeland Security says it has arrested them for expedited removal, his whole family. So do you think this is going too far, or is it what needs to be done to protect Americans from domestic terrorism?
Well, it's first I'm hearing of that piece of this. I was, following this story, yesterday. Seems to me to be domestic terrorist by him. He has committed a very serious crime. He should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Does that extend to his family members? Is that in accordance with due process laws we have in our country? That's unclear to me. So I'll have to take a close look. This administration, it appears, often oversteps on these issues of migration and immigration. What we're experiencing in Arizona right now, where ICE can be focused on criminals and going after criminals across the country and deporting people that have committed crimes. Instead, they're focused on folks that are showing up for their court date, trying to comply with the set of rules that have been handed to them as they have come to our country. I just don't think that's the way we should be using the resources that we have.
Senator Kelly, you, I'm not telling you this, you're a Navy veteran. What is your reaction to Defense Secretary Hegseth announcing that they're going to remove Harvey Milk's name from that Navy oiler ship that bears his name?
Well, I mean, it seems like the Secretary of Defense is just focused on the wrong things. I mean, bathrooms and names, and we've got such serious issues that DOD is facing. We've got to be more prepared, for conflicts in Europe, in the Western Pacific. I'm concerned as China continues to innovate. They are building longer range surface-to-air missile systems and air-to-air missile systems and space systems. And we need our entire Department of Defense to focus on the things that matter. The name of the ship, I don't really think that matters.
Once again, we are talking with U.S. Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona. I wanted to circle back to our first topic, Senator, real quickly, and ask if you have talked to any Republican senators who are considering breaking with President Trump now that Elon Musk has said that big, beautiful bill is a disgusting abomination. Have you had any conversations with Republicans who say that they're not going to vote for this in the Senate?
Well, I was talking to one of my Republican colleagues as I was walking to my office 15 minutes ago about the stuff that was in the Inflation Reduction Act, so renewable energy tax credits in this bill. I'm not going to say who it was because it was a private conversation, but he has concerns that I do that if all these tax incentives go away, we're going to have a harder time adding energy to the grid as we have been over the last few years. 90% of what we add to the grid has been solar, wind, and hydroelectric. It's not oil and gas. And the wait for a 2-cycle gas generator for a power plant, gas turbine, is like 4 years right now. So you can't make up the energy that we need with oil and gas. And they get that. It would also mean in his state, like in Arizona, a massive loss of jobs if the provisions that they have in the bill right now stay as they are, which means you have 60 days to start a project. If it doesn't start, it's not going to get the tax incentives that were in the Inflation Reduction Act. And what we put in that legislation has caused, in states like Arizona and Florida and other states, even states with wind, a tremendous amount of jobs, but also the energy that we need to continue to innovate with technology like artificial intelligence. We're expected to get a lot of data centers moving to Arizona to support AI. That means a lot of good-paying construction jobs, some of their jobs after things are built. But if we don't, if they roll back what was in the Inflation Reduction Act completely, a lot of those jobs are going to go away, and energy prices are going to go up for Arizonans and people across the country.
Arizona's senior U.S. Senator Mark Kelly joining us here on Arizona's Morning News. Went through a range of topics there, and of course, you can listen back on our KTAR website if you missed part of it. But you know, he took up the big beautiful bill, the tariffs, and what his thoughts are on those, and even the, you know, taking the name of Harvey Milk off a Navy ship.
Yeah, we think we covered it all. Here is John Roller now with a closure on the I-17, which of course brings us to a
KTAR traffic alert.
Any estimate on when this is going to open, John?
Yeah, no, Jim. We've been keeping in contact with the DPS, and this is all resulting from a wrong-way driver crash south of the stack, southbound I-17, right in the Durango curve. This crash happened right at 7th Avenue. So if you are getting out the door and starting your day at 6 o'clock, heads up for this. This is going to tack on some minutes on your drive into downtown Phoenix. If you're coming eastbound on the I-10 through the stack and you need to catch up to the I-10, maybe to get to Tucson.
All right, folks, you better leave early if you have to commute to the area that's affected. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like our videos, please. It will help with the algorithm. And you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll talk to you later. Pásalo.